Welcome to Gematria Goodies. For those of you who haven't seen earlier, I guess we did one earlier episode before this one. Why didn't you? Go find it and listen. But just to review, the Hebrew alphabet and the Greek alphabet are also numerical systems. And when you go to Psalm 119, you see the Hebrew alphabet there, 22 letters, and there are 8 verses per letter in that psalm. It's organized alphabetically, so you can use that as a base from which to work with Gematria. Today, I want to talk about Solomon, the wise King Solomon. If you look at 2 Samuel 12, verse 25, you see he also had the name Jedediah. He had the name Beloved of the Eternal, but he was also called Shlomo, which is from Shalom, meaning peace. Solomon, and his reign was a peaceful and prosperous reign, and he was the wisest of kings. I want to go to 1 Kings 4 and verse 32, and it talks about Solomon's Proverbs. As you know, we have the book of Mishlei, the book of Proverbs, and let's take a look at what it says about Solomon in the book of 1 Kings. Solomon 4, verse 32. He spoke 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 105. And we have the best of his songs, Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, which is called in your Bible the Song of Solomon, Canticles. And that was the best of his songs. It has to do with the sexual aspects of marriage. But he spoke 3,000 proverbs, and the ones that we need to know are in the canon. The ones that we need to know are preserved in the book of Proverbs. And I want to go to Proverbs 10 and verse 1. Here is a section of Proverbs that are attributed to Solomon. They're not the only ones in the book, but they're a section. One section of the book of Proverbs begins in Proverbs 10 and verse 1. And here's what it says. The Proverbs of Solomon. So it's a collection of Solomonic proverbs. And it continues to Proverbs 22 and verse 16. And if you look at Proverbs 22 and verse 16, go to the 17th verse, you see a new section. Proverbs 22 and verse 17. This is a new section. Notice we had Proverbs of Solomon beginning with Proverbs 10 verse 1 and going through verse 16. But now we have a different set of Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and verse 17. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. So here's the words of the wise. So evidently this is a collection, an eclectic collection of different wise sayings, and they're not attributed to Solomon. It's a different section. So let's go back to that section of Solomonic Proverbs, Proverbs 10:1 to Proverbs 22:16. And you know what you find? In that section, which are Solomonic Proverbs, 375 Proverbs. Count up the scriptures in those chapters. Proverbs 10:1 to Proverbs 22:16. 375 Proverbs. And now, let's go to the name of Solomon. Remember, in ancient times, the vowels were not written. Dots and dashes were added later, so we would know the vowels. But in ancient times, you were able to read and supply the vowels when you read. So Solomon's name was Shin, Lamed, Mem, He, Shlomo, based upon the word for wholesome or whole or the word for peace. I want to go now to to Psalms 119. Psalms 119. And let's go to verse 161. And this is the section beginning with Shin. Now Shin in the Hebrew system is equal to 300. 300. Now let's go back to verse 89. Here you see Lamed. Lamed is equal to 30. After Lamed comes Mem. Mem is equal to 40. See, the way the alphabet works is it goes 1 to 10, and then it goes by tens until you come to 100. And the last letters are 100, 200, 300, 400. So it goes 1 to 10, then the next letters are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then 200, 300, 400. Now, what I gave you today is not enough for you to work things out on your own yet. So I've just given you the beginning. an intro to it. But it's enough for you to understand what I'm going to tell you today. I'm telling you today that Shin equals 300, that Lamed equals 30. The next letter, Mem, verse 97 of Psalm 119, equals 40. And now I want to go back to verse 33, the fifth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Hey, which equals 5. Shin, Lamed, Mem, Hey. 300, 30, 40, and 5. 375. So you see why the book was organized this way. We have a section of Solomonic Psalms, Mishlei Shlomo, Proverbs of Solomon, from Proverbs 10:1 to Proverbs 22:16. 375 Proverbs, which happens to equal the Gematria of his name, Shlomo. His name equals 375. It's an interesting way to organize that material, and I thought it would be interesting to you to hear about it. So let's come back again to this same website for more Gematria goodies.